All right, let's go over this monument sign for Eisenhower Occupational Health out in La Quinta. So there's the new hotness that you get to build, and there's the old busted. See you later. So the only thing that's staying is this kind of beat up concrete slab. We'll go over that with install, but push through cabinet with a little front box, shoebox, backed up Plex, little separate guy there, but everything else is push through, and we'll go over the fancy squigglies. I'm gonna need my page turner for this one. This is a big file. So refresh. So we're gonna go over lay of the land real quick. So we'll start out with some 063 parts. These are for the top hats. I got the two side squiggles and the top main squiggle there, and the mounting pieces there. And these will be the 090 jigs for everything, the faces of them, and some spars. So this is your main center box, 9 inches wide. That's how it's gonna mount to the slab. And then the two faces will mount to that. Here's your face frame pieces. That'll incorporate all your push throughs and everything for mounting. And there's your jiggies. These are asymmetrical. You have jiggies for the front, and then you got jiggies for the back of the frame that does all the mounting and stuff. 2 sets each is shown there. And then this is for the center frame. Very simple. I tried to keep it very minimal. And that's all you need there. Just print that, route that. Here's your two shoebox boxes. Got your sides, keep an eye out for those. Your front skins, thankfully, all in one piece. Awesome. Although it does make Lords challenging, so keep that in mind. 2-man job at least. Side skins, look for a little birdhouse. That'll be kind of a switch protector. So that'll get Lords to the inside there. And then I'll go over these. These are some dummy skins to close up a pocket on top. This here is a Mark 6, but a SOPMOD where we are modifying the hat and the 2 mounting plates are extended for the monument sign. But instead of reinventing the wheel, we did have room to incorporate this into it. So with a little bit of help here, a little SOPMOD action. So here's where we get to have fun machining. Already talked to Jose. He's got a little chunk of 3/8 there. So he'll just route these down. I'll show you what those are for. Those are the mounts for the faces, make things easy. 3 mounting plates, 1/4 inch. And there's our 063 white for our LED inserts that will also seal off light leaks, et cetera, et cetera. No big thing if it might be a little wobbly. You could crisscross it as we do for a little strength. If you want to go 040 on this white. Either way, 063, 040, white, whatever you got. You might still want to crisscross it slightly, but whatever you feel like. You got your 1/8 inch clear Tough Act backers. You've got 1 inch clear acrylic pushies. And you've got your 3/16 white, just backed up acrylic for that shoebox. And finally, there's a lot of stuff. You've got your 1/2 inch MDO. I'd like to see, if you don't want to burn a piece of MDO, if we have a piece that's laying around that fits, great. If not, though, I think we want it to be something other than just Sintra or something. We want like something with some substance because it's going to be kind of long. It's 90 inches and they're going to lay it on there and kind of use it. So that's your drill template. So let's talk about the frames to start. So I'm just going to highlight what makes these special, but it's kind of what we've been doing. Agua caliente fuel, et cetera, et cetera. You got a middle center frame that's skeletal that mounts, and then because you don't have access to things, it makes it easier. The 2 faces will slide on. They have their own separate frames. And then this is going to have these hats that sit on top afterwards. So we'll break it down like that. Let's talk about the middle frame. It's 9 inches wide, super skeletal. Try to keep it nice and easy. So you got a 1 piece up top, and then you've got interstitial pieces here. And I kept the verticals solid. Now the verticals will have, so you go ahead and tack it all together. You do have it flipped over. Before I get to this, we got to eat our vegetables before we get to our dessert. These are fun. So you got the flipped over bottom, kind of like what we do with monument signs. This is 1.5 inches. So flipped over gives you a cavity. And then you're going to slide in your 1/4 inch plates through the toaster slots. And so this is kind of your top view. So you'll have these guys poking out a little bit on both sides. And then you can tack those in. And then I do have, as usual, we got a 2x2 spine that'll connect, essentially bring all the stress from the face. The two faces are going to work their way to these mounting points here, and then work their way to the the 2x across, and then the 2x across will be tacked to the plates, and then the plates will go to the studs in the ground, and then hopefully the earth is strong enough to hold the sign up. Hopefully the planet Earth is big enough. So that's how engineering works. Anyway, that's all good. So you're going to slide those in. I got 193s for you. Register them, tack them in. And then when you build the frame, when you slide the 2x in, I'm leaving these are going to be half exposed. And that gives you a chance to go from the 2x past the 09, and you can burn like a 1-inch bead to the plate. So the plate, you can go underneath and you can weld the plate to the 09, but okay, fine. But I'd like to get that structure to the 2. That way the 2 can transfer load, to these verticals here. So anyway, and that'll support across and get us to those 6 studs in the ground. So real simple there. And then the other tricky part though, the reason why this is flipped, and you'll see here in the gray, I'm going to go ahead and make it that violet like I do. This is going to be a 2x4 extrusion. So bring in some 2x4/8 if you don't have it. And that's going to be on its side. So it's 4 inches on the flat, 2 inches tall. And that's going to be our decorative little kick base there here. So that's going to be the 2x4 on its side. It's going to look like 2x2 when we're done because the faces will sit on top of it. But that's going to kind of replicate kind of what they got there. So let's go back to the frame parts page. Okay, so what you're going to do is, in order to build that, is where you see the gray, here is your main frame box that's only 9 inches wide. And then you have your 1/4 inch pieces just poke out. So you've got space here, dead space, nothing. So you're going to build this to where it surrounds the just this plate all the way around. And then you can burn it to the frame here, the 09 there. You can go up underneath, or on the inside, you can burn it across the top here. That's fine. You can burn it across. You can do a fillet across the top, right along here. So you could fill it there. You don't need to do the whole thing. We don't want to warp it, but you could do like a nice 1 inch there and a nice 1 inch there. And then right here, you can do a vertical fillet and weld this to this. You're going to go ahead and burn on the inside here, and you can close this up, make this nice. This is what you'll see. This is your face frame. This is your 09 face. So it's going to cover all that. And then this will look like 2x. Then it'll be nice and sexy. But what this is also doing is, since this is only 4x, 090, and we have this 1/4 inch plate going across, this is going to help. You got a 6 inch thing here. Again, you probably don't need to burn it completely, but if you want, fine. But you can go ahead and do like 1.5 inches here, 1.5 inches here, and that's going to connect and also give a lot of structure. Plus you got your 2x running across, and then you're going to connect that 2x to the 1/4. So this should be nice and strong. But what I'm saying is, by math, by computer science, this is 123.5, and it's, what did I have here for a cut? It's 120, or it's 21 by 123.5. Now I added a 1/16 all the way around in order to have a little bit of space here for it to wrap around and it doesn't like get too tight, and then you have a gap there. So that builds in only about a 32nd. So what I encourage you to do is get this frame built, get it tacked together, get it all welded, get your plate in there, get these plates in there, get everything all set. Then shoot a measurement to see if it truly is, if you can live a 1/16 over, or if it needs to be a little bit more. It's just that, you don't want to come up short and then this seam here is spread apart. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want that. You just want, so the idea is to cut that so don't just go to the saw and because I told you 123.5 plus a 1/16, go ahead and, because your saw might be a little funky or whatever, but it's the inside measurement that's important. So, get this thing built, get your overall measurements, get your distance from here to here, and then see what will work nice. But a 1/16 gives you a 30-second there, and it gives you a 30-second here. So anyway, and then you're just going to build that around it, tack it in place, tack this in place, and then you can burn it to this frame, and then that's how that's going to be. So you'll end up with this frame with all the jigs in place, and this bottom piece all, welded up to your 1/4 inch, and that's how install is going to install. That's why I also made this flange exactly 1.5 inches, So when you set this on your table, or now don't use that table that's shaped like a hammock. You want something nice and level, but you can set it up on something level, and then that'll help you get this 2x4 right even with the base of the sign, and that'll be nice and sexy. And like I say, you see how much room you have here. You have about 3/4 of an inch there. You got plenty of room here, so you can weld across the top and you can weld across the bottom and get that 1/4 inch plate to the profile of that 2x4. So that'll set you up for success there. And then this frame's good. You're going to weld in the two, from the inside, you're going to cleco in these 2 power supply holders, and you're going to tack those to the inside of the frame. Go ahead and tack those up, and that's going to hold your SOPMOD Mark 6 on the power side. Make sure that when you do this, you got the power side, because this one's notched for the Mark 6. So it kind of, power is the big door. The other side is the semi-axis there. And then, this is the solid piece there. That's your center. And then this is your power side. I got little holes here to run, try to save route time, but this also allows you to feed all your wires. So now let's get to these guys. So now that you have these all in there nice, you're going to take those nice, cool, machined 3/8 bits, and then you're going to take them and put them with the flange out, just like here. And you're going to put a 1/2 inch bolt, use a nylon nut on the back, and just bolt them in spot. 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. And then what that's going to do is that's going to actually keep, because you're not going to have you can't reach in there and bolt these faces on. You can't reach into the sign at all. So the idea is that you'll be able to just go over there, slide this on, and this will keep the whole middle of the sign in place. And then it's going to rely on gravity, and the sign is going to bonk out right there. And so you'll see where the jigs are modified on the back to take advantage of that. So it's going to be super easy install. It's just going to be a little heavy. I did some measurements on it. It's about 100 pounds, but a couple people can grab on the sides. And then even if there's a third homie out there, or a lady, whoever, they can actually use the front box. That'll probably be on there. That's sturdy enough. You could kind of lift that, use it as sort of a lift point, kind of help out third guy on that side. Anyway, so that's building this up. While we're here, let's talk about install, just while we're here for install. So put it in the chapter. So the idea is it's YJ approved. You're just going to go out there. You saw the semi-sketchy thing here. It's not going to be great. So once you scrape this off, take what you need to do to clean it up. And then you're just going to do like you do. But I went ahead and made so the pocket gives you the ability to run power on the inside underneath. So you'll have that hollow cavity. So you have all this room in here to run power and get it to where you need to be. The usual 2 3/4 inch embed for the Hilti. I have 6-inch bolts. And then if you do the bottom leveling nut, get it on there. I have that set for about, depending on concrete and whatnot, 1 1/4 inch to whatever washer or whatever, your first surface. So from your concrete, spin on some nuts, get all 6 of them on there. Maybe you have a really long level or something. You can kind of get them sort of leveled up. And then you should be able to slide this substructure on and then just counter tighten your nuts, and you should be good to go. And then you can easily run your power. I gave you plenty of options for getting your power through here, here, here. I have this right here, and I have this one over on this side. Other than the power, this is universal. You can choose either, north, south, west, whatever, but you can choose which side you want the switch and the power to be on. That's all. So otherwise, this is symmetrical. And then I'm giving you this cool template. So the overall width of this template is the width of the sign, because that fits. But you just find your center, and then just know that it's 123 overall. I give you a little center mark there. You can figure it out, and then just go ahead and use this to mark and burn your 6 bolts. So it should be pretty simple for you guys. So dialed in. Again, while we're there, egg or whatever. So if you want to cut those, and you got that 2x2 there, that's the foot cut list. Got that over with. Your boxes, how we do boxes, shoot some studs, weld it up. And, you got your little side there to give you clearance. LEDs, I gave you a little power through. Now you might want to, these are theoretically going to be symmetrical, but because power will be on one side, you can either vary the leash or make one on one, make the leash come out this side on one and make the leash come out this side on the other. So that way they don't have to go all the way across. It's up to you. Same thing with the white on whites. I tried to make the, I had them up there. There they are. I tried to make the leash holes, you know, whatever side. So there's that. So the faces are basically what you guys normally have been doing. They're about 4 inches wide. Just go ahead and construct it all the way around, make your face. I gave room clearance for all the push throughs through here. And then, you know, now because these top hats are going to have these weird things that we're going to get to next, you can see the blue is the structural that's, you know, 9 inches wide. Fine. But where this frame is going to be, obviously, it messed with the mounting of these hats. So that's why you ended up with some funky jigs, because you basically had to make this solid. And you'll see where all of this is actually just floppy 09. So we'll get to that. But you want to protect this part. Once you get this lordsed onto the frame, you've got some unprotected parts here that could theoretically get beat up during prep or, you know, bent or whatever. So you want to make sure that you protect that. But that's the best we could do. So, you know, compromising between having to mount these flanges for these top hats and then also making the frame actually make sense. So you'll work your way around. Like I said, the frames are left and right, but only for reference, just to know, like, because that helps to be what's face and what's not. So again, it's asymmetrical. So the back side's going to have all the weird tabs and flanges, just like Loma Linda kind of thing, except you don't have to bend these. But these tabs will poke out through the frame in order to allow you to close it in with the white on white. Now that is also, the idea is to minimize light leaks. So that way the white on white will seal up. It'll seal up with the frame and try to be a minimum light leak and keep this enclosed in this box. That way, you know, because of all this ability for light to kind of sneak out here, and it might sneak out the bottom. So that was my way of trying to close this up. Same thing here. This frame might be a little overkill or weird, but it also creates an enclosure. And that way, when you put the white on white, it'll seal it up, and hopefully we don't have that many light leaks. So again, all the tabs that or all the jiggies that have tabs go to the back of the face, and all of the front jiggies just don't have that. And that's the quote unquote normal jigs versus back jigs have tabs that poke up. And then like this one is doing double duty. The back jig will poke up through here, come back down, and also will be where, you know, you slide in the face and lock it in. So you'll have one riv nut on the face over here, where I know like all the rest of them, we have a bunch of riv nuts. What I'm doing is backing off of that, and I'm gonna rely on the side skin for doing the work of bringing this together, because the side skin does a lot of work as it is. So, you know, we put the two frames together with everything, and then we put it together. So the side skin will do more than enough work to hold that together. By the time you get over here, you know, it's basically 40 inches apart. That's fine. This is just gonna sit on the 2x, so support its own weight, and then this will just keep it from ever coming forward. But I also have built in plenty of clearance, so install should have no problem lifting this up just, you know, 2 inches, sliding it down, and off to the races. Throw a 5/16 there, and then what I have are some top flanges that you can go ahead and just rivet on, and then the top flanges here, you can rivet these two. This is the face frame, right? This is the flange sticking out. Don't worry about that. But so this is your 4-inch frame. This is the 9-inch thing. You can see your power box there, top view. So you can rivet on these flanges, and then all it is this will tuck up against the box, and then you can just hit it with self tappers, and that holds the top together. And then you'll have the little middle things here that holds that, and 1 5/16 here. And then by the time you put the side skins on, that's going to hold everything together. And then you're going to put the top boxes on, and the top boxes will also then nail down this floppiness. So we don't need a bunch of jigs and things here, and we don't, you know, this will all be that. That's a very profound statement. This will all be that. So anyway, and I went ahead and clearance too. Be aware of there's a pinch problem here. This is only about a 1/2 inch. So if you're looking at you know, I try to protect you guys, but you're going to have to lift this sign somehow. And right here, if you got your hand, you know, this could be serious pinch point. So I went ahead and just try to use the clearance holes here. And I put a clearance hole here, and I put a clearance hole here. Just be careful. And then I clearanced it here as well. So you can kind of wrap your hand around here and around here, and just be careful when you kind of lift up and slide on that you don't pinch yourself. So heads up, fair warning. Don't be coming back to me when you're Palmolive, Calgon, Palmolive hands are all ruined. You can't be a hand model. The bottom of the frame for install, I went ahead and clearanced it as well, because you can see here that using these bolts and nuts to hold up. This is a good side view. I forgot I have this. So this is for, for fab. Here's your bottom frame here. You're going to slide your quarter through. Perfect. And you're going to burn it to the 4x, all that. So you can see where the frame comes in, but this would be a tight thing to try to get and grind flat. So I put some nice generous holes in the bottom. So this is why it's important to make sure face and back faces the proper way on all of these. Make sure you got face. I have a marked face, face and back, because these are definitely asymmetrical. The face requires to be, so these on the panel line up. This is what I was talking about before. Go ahead and Lords this. This is going to protect the switch. Just give it a little protection and kind of close it in for, whatever. But it's basically our Mark 6. You see how it fits there just nice. Should be just right. Like I said, the only thing SOPMOD is to change the lid and the mounting so it fits in there better. So once this is all built, all you're going to do is frap it. You stick it in this cavity, frap it to those things. You're good to go. Run your power. So that takes care of power. All done there. These things. So because these are just these things, this is going to be a 4x frame, and then this frame is not going to touch the other frame by 9 inches, because this frame is going to be in the way. So in order to sort of connect these top bits, this will connect and this will connect, but how do you kind of fake this part with, because you'll be able to just look right in here and live in here, little birds and stuff. So it's sort of janky / it's the best we could do. Don't crash. Thank you. This is a big frame every time, or this is a big file. Every time I open it, it wants to crash. So what you're going to do is take this guy. So you're going to bend it, and you'll have mounting holes here, 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 and here. And then you'll have this piece that you go ahead and rivet on to this piece, and it will sit like this. So you'll have this part here, and then the rivet part is up here, and it'll have these little wings. These wings are for tension. So you can overcook them or undercook them, pull them in and out, and that will just basically sit there and rub against the top part. So this creates the skin, and it makes it look like it's closed. So that way, this skin here is going to come up this side, right? And then you have this guy, and then you get to this part, it would be like, oh, this is open. I can see the framing and stuff. So you're just going to take this thing and set it bonk in there. And before this hat goes on, these hats are the last thing you do, install. You can shoot in here, frap it to the frame, and then frap it to the frame down here. You got plenty of room to work. And then that will close that, and it'll kind of secure those together. And then when you go to put the hats on, it'll hide hardware. So you'll live with a seam here, and you'll live with a seam, and you'll live with a seam, but it'll look like the same seam there. So it'll kind of just look like that piece extends and goes underneath and pops up there and goes. But this will have like nothing. Like this will just be raw 09 against this piece of 09. So that's what I was saying, is you can adjust this flange, because this might be bent in a little, or it might actually poke out a little and, be sticking out. So you'll just sort of adjust it with your, give it a little bonk, whatever it takes. Anyway, so there's that. That explains that. Now you're all closed up. So you got 2 frames, push through studs, shoot studs, all of that. Box. Already explained the box. So now let's talk about top hats. So now top hats are going to have the teeth don't show here, but this is going to be a 1-inch flange with holes in the face. And then there's going to be a 063 flange that also sticks out, that's for mounting these. So let's go there now. So top hats are as follows. So this is the basic mounting principle, and this is the basic fab principle. So you'll have this 063 flange with teeth. So here they are. So you just sort of match the curvature of the face, and you'll have those holes there. And then what I'm saying is you're going to weld it before, I would say weld, the rule, weld before you lords, because the lords is going to get grumpy. Now this will be far enough away that maybe it might not heat affect the lords, but once, let's say the frame's going to be right here, you lords this after you've or you lords this and you weld this after lords, it could put stress and pop that. So, You might want to think about tacking this on first. I would say Lords this on, but getting the teeth and getting Lords on there just right, whatever. So I think it'd be easier and faster just to tack this in place. But also watch your heat, because that will also cause, because you see there's no support there. Come on. So if you tack along here and get real happy, this is going to shrink and warp and bend in a little bit. And again, that's why you want to do this first, because it's too close to Lords here and here. And this strain could cause this to want to pop off or something, So anyway, but you can see where that'll be. I don't have the holes, but that's where they are. Let's look at the faces real quick. So there you go. So you can see there. So you're ready to go. So get those on there. That's just straightforward. Just bend these up, get them on there, let the flange stick out. Perfect. Now the face, or these top box things, haven't made these before, but I think in principle they're going to work. So you'll have your 090 jig, you'll have your 3/4 inch flange and your 3/4 inch flange, and then you'll have basically almost a 21 inch piece across. Now I went ahead and made the face stick down a whole 1/4 inch. This is the cavity where screws will hide. So the average Joe driving by will not be able to see the screws down, underneath. Also, you can see where this is where the frame stops, and now we have all this 09 just flapping. This will be the final securing system for bringing it all home. So you can see where the flange will tuck underneath. No one, unless you walk over there and look underneath and go, oh, that's cool. Only sign nerds will do that. You put your screw there, and that'll be the final securement and bring this home together. You can see where those are the flanges there, where you'll frap the faces, so the frames will go together on the main frame. You'll frap those. And then from there, the boxes will do the rest of the work, bringing this together. So anyway, that's it. So as you can see, just bend it up. You got these little flanges here. The fun part is that you can see where the two side ones cut into the face. So you can see where that's the end of the skin. This is the notch I made, and it has to hug the two faces. And there's even a baby notch here. So loads of fun. So we gotta build that into it. And then, so all you're left with are just little end nuggets here to close this in. Here you got a full all the way across piece, and here you have a full all the way across piece. But here you got these two little nuggets that you have to sort of fake. And, again, trying to do, close in work with a chainsaw sometimes with our welder when it gets that small on 063. But just do the best you can with these little nuggets here, right here. So that's your face flange, and this is your top flange, and then this flange will fit right there, and then the top is here with this little flange, and that's your bigger chunk. That's your cutout there. So what you're gonna do? Take your bottom, do your 1-2 bends, bend these up, and then go ahead and put your inside jigs, and then go ahead and put your sides in. These are guys right here. You'll have your bend and your bend and your bend, and you'll see where that's your pocket. So the actual structure is here to here. Go ahead and put those in, and that way you have access in from the top. So go ahead and secure it in, weld it. I gave you plug welds all along here, so you can plug weld through this flange to this face right here. And then this will be bent down, and then that will kick out here. So while the top is off, go ahead and get in there, tack all this. Of course, you tack on the face, get all this nice. And then what you're going to do is take the top and bring it in. Now, you've got these spars. I think the spars will work for you. But if not, give it a try, test fit it. I know it's all an experiment, but I thought maybe 21 inches across might be a little too much, box, and, might not form very well. So to give it some strength, if you take these, because we have the bottom is open, you can easily just rivet from the bottom, and the side that has no rivet will be ready for a plug weld. So go ahead and do all your welding, get this all done. Take your spars. I don't have them there, but basically take your spars, put them in there, rivet from the bottom, and then that will give you the ability at the end. Now the top doesn't have any weird flanges or anything, but this, you can see where it matches up with that flange. You can cleco and spot, and then you can plug weld, or, rosette welds, whatever you call them. You can plug weld the top to that flange, you'll plug, you'll weld along the face. Perfect. And then this is where those struts will be. And if you can see them, and if you have to push down or lift a little bit or whatever you think, and then nail it down and then plug it up. And that should give it some structure. And then these guys here will be where the little flange is, and do your best to try to get that sealed up. Because that's why I give you that little top thing. So this little top nugget here, these two holes match those two holes there. So do your best to try to dummy that up and make it look like this with a notch out of it. I was actually considering perforating it and keeping it whole, and then you guys like going in and axing it out later. But I think this will work because I have a strut right here. So that strut should act to hold that together for you. Anyway, these are mirrored. So, just treat them both the same, interchangeable parts. But I went ahead and put an S for side. So everything S side, S, S, S. And then I went ahead and did C for center. So mid is M for this one. So same thing, except this is literally, I took it, cut it in half, and made sure that it's identical both ways. So the C and the C are the same. The M is the middle. The reason why is because there's actually different distances. So this center one is actually a little skinnier than this one. So that's why they're not completely interchangeable. So same thing with this one. The reason why there's a 1 and a 2 and a 3 is because this is like thicker than this one. And then this one's actually thinner because this isn't an exact wave. This actually has a lot of character to it. So anyway, so just get the 1 where the 1 is, get the 2, get the 2. Anyway, and like I say, just follow this is just basically saying what I did there. So I think that's it. You get that welded up, boom, boom. And then I think install knows what's up as far as now you understand those flanges will be there. Keep in mind that these flanges will be sticking out. Be careful with prep and everything. We don't want to bend them because again, they won't be supported. You'll have your frame and everything, but that's just going to be 09 sticking out. So when they travel, but then that's what the last thing install is going to do is just take and nail that down. So for install, it should be really straightforward. I'm knocking on wood now. But it should be super straightforward for you guys. And also, like I discussed it with Jonathan, that, is either make it all in one big giant piece, which really can't, but it would have been service truck, crane and stuff. It would have been a lot of work. So it's a little more work on the front end as usual, but it'll be a very quick, easy, straightforward method. So real quick, double check. I think that's it. Half plate, all that, top hats, frame parts, SOPMOD, that. So yeah, I think if you guys have any questions, hit me up, but I think that should be it. All right. Good luck. We're all counting on you.